Good morning. Today I'm going to read an excerpt from my first book, Two Spirit. I decided to do the drawing and the reading separately and blend them together, so I hope it matches up with the time, or I will have to do some impromptu babbling at the end, which, as you know, doesn't always go so well because these videos give me anxiety. So the drawing I'm doing this morning is my own design. Traditionally, the story is shared with pictures of a coyote being the main focal point, and all the pictures I found having anything to do with the Nez Perce legend were either the coyote or the monster. So I decided to design my own. As you know, my talents have a lot to be desired, but I hope you like the reading as well as the pastel drawing. I should give you a little disclaimer here. If you look real close, you can see that I etched out the drawing first, and I am not just freehanding the pastels. Okay, so now for the reading. When they passed through the high mountain desert, Five Wounds let Rose off to gather sage. Sage is a sacred plant. It works on abdominal cramps, spasms, cuts, bruises, colds, and flu. She inhaled the aroma from the plant. I love the smell of sage. Why is sage sacred? It purifies and cleanses the body of any negative energies it may meet. Five Wounds observed the picturesque view of Rose as she stood among the brush, smelling a bouquet of sage leaves. The sight melted the negative energies from the last few days. I'll be damned. Now smiling, he described the different ceremonies and practices of his people as they rode. Do all tribes believe as you do? We share many similar beliefs. Each tells a legend of how our tribe came to be. Five Wounds cleared his throat as a renewed peace came over him. One day, long before the people came on earth, an enormous monster from the north came. He ate everything in sight, from little mice to big elk and cougar. Five Wounds winked at Rose, who listened to his deep voice with childlike wonder. Coyote could not find his friends. This made him angry. He said, "The time has come to stop the monster." Five Wounds continued. Coyote swam across the Snake River and to the top of the highest peak in the Wallowa Mountains and tied himself to the summit. He yelled to the monster, "Come and eat me." The monster crossed the river and tried hard to suck him off the mountain, but Coyote's rope was too strong. This frightened the monster, and he made a plan to make friends with Coyote and ask him to dinner. "Oh no, don't go!" Rose's reaction was involuntary, and she fell silent in haste. Five Wounds gave her a patient smile. Coyote was smarter than that. He told the monster, "Let me see the other animals." So Monster opened his mouth and swallowed him. All the other animals were there, safe inside his stomach. "That is good. How do they get out?" Five Wounds glanced at the sky. "Lord, give one of us patience." Rose gave him a sheepish smile. "Sorry, but your stories are so thrilling, I forget to keep quiet." Five Wounds' face filled with pride as he continued. Coyote told the other animals, "Get ready to escape." He took out his flint and started a big fire. Then he cut the monster's heart. "Oh dear!" Rose covered her mouth and stopped her words. The monster died a horrible death, and the animals crawled out. Rose clapped, and Five Wounds scowled her into silence once more. Coyote said, "I will honor this event by making an unknown creature, a human being." So he took out his knife and cut the monster into pieces. He threw him in all directions, north, south, east, and west. 5 wounds pointed. He threw him in the valleys and the canyons and along the rivers. This is how the many tribes came to be. Coyote's friend Fox said, "You have not made a human being for this land." Coyote was unhappy, for he had no more parts left. He stared at his bloody hands and had an idea. He put water on them and mixed it with the blood. He flipped his hands and spread the blood on the ground. Coyote said, "Here on this ground, I make the Neempu nation. They will be small in number, but they will be strong and pure. This is how the Nez Perce came to be," 5 wounds concluded. Neempu, Rose repeated. "Does that mean Nez Perce?" 5 wounds laughed. "No, Nez Perce is a French word. Neempu means the human beings." What a horrifically lovely tale. So that concludes my reading, and I am far from finishing this picture. So I'll babble. When I decided to write about the state of Idaho, which, as you all know, I love dearly, I wanted to honor her indigenous people. Now, I was raised near the Fort Hall Indian Reservation, which is the home to the Shoshone and Bannock Nation, and my father worked for the tribal police on the Fort Hall Reservation. He was actually made an honorary member for his work he did with them. But I chose instead to write about the Nez Perce Nation because both then and now they are considered the heart of Idaho. They have fishing hatcheries, and they're have a program where they're breeding the original Idaho wolf. The wolves that were reintroduced into Idaho are Canadian wolves, and the wolves that were originally in Idaho are not much bigger than the coyotes that are here. And so the Nez Perce tribe have been breeding them for years, and Idaho this year decided to try to eliminate the bigger wolves that are from Canada, because the smaller wolves that were the Nez Perce are breeding won't make it, or won't live. They'll the Canadian wolves will just slaughter them. So hopefully that recovery program that they're doing works out. So they also they work in forestry and land preservation programs. They're trying or petitioning to get one of the dams removed. And I can't exactly remember where it's at, I'm sorry. So that the salmon can make it back into Idaho. I mean, there are places that the salmon can reach Idaho, but this would be the southern part, I believe. That dam would help them, the southern Idaho, get their salmon back. And for the last few years, they have been purchasing back some of their traditional sacred grounds. The little town next to us is called New Meadows, and outside of New Meadows was Zim's Hot Springs, which originally the Nez Perce used as a lot of the hot natural thermals for sweat lodges and things like that. So they purchased that back. They purchased back a golf course and another little piece of property, which was a sacred meeting ground for them. So it's really nice to see that they're getting some of their traditional lands back. And they also purchased a museum. The museum housed all the artifacts from their ancestors, and so they were able to purchase that back. Okay, I'm pretty close to finishing the picture, so I hope you've enjoyed my reading and my minimal artistic talents today. And I hope you give my book, Two Spirits, a read through and enjoy it. I can't remember, 6 to 8 different legends like this one in there. And I tried to weave them into the story so that you could understand what they meant by the legend. Because sometimes if you just read the legend, it's really hard to understand exactly what they were trying to tell. So I kind of tried to work it into my story so that you had some understanding. And I didn't put the whole understanding of the legends, because there's just a lot of things involved in the legends. And so I narrowed it down.